Welcome to Ready Set RC, and you can see by the thumbnail, we got something a little small on the channel today. We got the Arrma Granite Grom. This is a 1/18th scale, ready to run, and truly ready to run monster truck. This truck comes with everything you're going to need to get it up and running. And we'll talk more about that as we unbox. Just to go over some quick looks at what's included, you get the transmitter, batteries for the transmitter, the brushed motor, a battery, a USB charger. The battery pack that comes with it's a LiPo pack. It's 2S rated, 1400 mAh, and it's a 30C pack. Arrma is claiming that this is waterproof, has all metal gears, it also has some of the smart tech technology. New for Arrma, we got a clipless body system. Looking forward to that. I was checking that out in my hobby shop, but it's a little funky. We'll see how it works here in the studio. Oil-filled shocks. They also have optional shocks they're going to be coming available for this as well. Composite arms, no foams in the tires, but these are rubber tires with a composite wheel. Direct drive system, so you have a center drive shaft, a spur gear, and a pinion going on that spur gear. There's no third differential, so you got a differential on the front, a differential on the rear, and a direct drive to those gears going on there. One thing I want you to note too in optional parts, they have a differential set that does come with oil in there. These that come with the truck, they are not capable of handling oil, and they're all plastic gears. I'm not sure if the optional ones are going to be plastic or metal gears. That I'm not too sure on, but I know that they do come with differential oil in the front and also in the rear. There's a 2-in-1 receiver and transmitter on this, and then the servo is mounted down below. For you guys wanting to see which one that I got the black and the red one. This also comes in blue and red and also in green and black. But let's get the Grom opened up and see what this thing looks like. Show you guys what it looks like packaged up. It's packaged nice and neat. Ooh. We'll come back to this. Let's go through the boring stuff first. They provide you with some shock spacers, quite a bit I would say. I don't mind the spacers, especially for a beginner RC, it's very exact. Also comes with a tool to work on the Grom. So this is going to be a little hex wrench on one side, and this is going to be for removing your nuts on your wheels. Yeah, this is going to be your tool to kind of work on the truck. Not bad. Interesting Arrma, it has a good weight to it too. More and more I'm seeing these from Arrma with the support card. These are starting to come with the later releases in 2023, these support cards, and also has a QR code for the support and also a video on the RC. Another Allen wrench, 4 AA's for the transmitter. You get the LiPo charger, and it's USB. And they also provide you with a USB-C to USB adapter that comes along with the USB-C cable. You get the technical pack, and this is basically going to take you through the truck just to get that first understanding of how to set your mesh. And I believe the way that the mesh is set with these, they have these little inserts that you're going to be able to adjust your mesh depending on the size of the pinion that you run with it. But just to get you up and running, you do not need to do anything in regards to swapping out the inserts for the mesh. The mesh is already set from the manufacturer. And then there is a full 3D blowout of the truck. And then finally, the owner's manual. Quite a bit of detail in here, all in black and white, multiple different languages. Give it a read. Talks about how to drive the car for the first time, how to turn, how to set up your ESC and receiver unit. Yeah, quite a bit of detail in here, but give it a read, especially if this is your first RC, to get an understanding of how to operate the Grom. And here we are, guys. We got the SLT2 controller. Very nice in the hands. I think we've seen something similar to this in the past, but it's very light, fits in the hands nicely. Also has a QR code on the top. This controller is a 2-channel controller, so you just have the throttle and the steering. Nice foam wheel for those smaller hands to operate it. You have a status light. You have your steering dual rate and your steering trim. There is no throttle trim or dual rate on this. It's only steering trim and steering dual rate on this controller. And then on the back side, we have our 50, 75, and 100 for the throttle limiter. And for the reversing of the steering rate, we can flip that there. If your vehicle's supposed to be going left and it's going right, that's what the reverse dual rate's going to do, and vice versa. And then our power switch, that's a different kind of power switch right there, but we have our power switch right here on the back side. Your 4 AA's are going to go down below. Clips right in. Bring this up nice and close for you guys. Here we are with the Grom. Let's peel that plastic back. That's not going anywhere. These tires, as I mentioned before, they do not have foam inserts. There are holes, and hopefully you guys can hear that. There are holes in the tires to wick out any water that may come inside of these. Don't feel bad. They feel typical to vehicles of this size. This truck has a good amount of weight to it. Feels really good and planted. And with those oil-filled shocks, look at that. Absorbs the bumps really well. Hopefully they'll come out with a wheelie bar for this, but if you start taking this thing brushless, I could see that you're going to want to get this thing on 2 wheels. The bumper seems to hold it, that back skid seems to hold a wheelie pretty good on there. So maybe that's the reasoning behind no wheelie bar. But yeah, I'd like to have seen a wheelie bar on this, and especially since I do plan on taking this brushless fairly soon. But let's get the body off, and I want to show you guys what that takes. So there are 2 tabs, and it's probably easier once I get the body off. You squeeze that. I'm going to put the truck down to do that. You squeeze that, release the body from its points in the rear, and then lift up. You got to push it forward and lift up. And then just to put it back on, same deal. Same motion, push down, and it's on. Fairly easy, guys. Had a little troubles with this when I was at the hobby shop, to be honest, but home, I think I'm rocking and rolling over here. These are oil-filled shocks, and they feel really good. That front bumper, it's firm, but it feels good. There are no adjustments for the front shocks or the rear shocks. There's no adjustments on the shock mount, and there's no adjustments on the lower suspension arms. They are just fixed. There's nothing there to adjust. Hex hardware throughout this RC, and that's a plus. For people who are in the hobby and are looking for something to putt around with, that's good. And even for kids, most likely your parents are going to be the ones that are doing the work on this, unless you're a little bit older. And it's always good to have standardized hardware going throughout the truck. I'm going to show you guys what that mounting system looks like in the front, and then the action to remove the body in the rear. And what happens is the pins from the body go right into these holes and lock right in. And we'll have to see how that holds up under, load of bashing the RC. But for the most part, this feels really good. Want to see how they kind of make this a little bit bigger and how that goes on maybe on the 3S or the 4S lines. Maybe that's something that they can incorporate on those trucks. We got composite arms, lower and upper. Does not look like camber or toe is adjusted on this, front or rear. So all of the suspension is fixed. The links on this, front and rear, are all fixed. Drive shafts in the front, there are CVD. The steering knuckles in the front are also composite. Front to rear brace on this, it's composite, but it feels nice and rigid. The shocks in the front and also in the rear, there are no adjustments on the shock towers, nor are there adjustments on the lower suspension arms. So all of the shock positions are fixed. Steering linkage is also composite. In the rear, the upper and lower suspension is also composite. Dog bones in the rear. Outdrives in the front and also in the rear, they're also composite. This rear bumper feels really good. I'm looking at the support for the rear bumper and the front bumper. They look like they'll be the same part. So this support for the bumper in the front and also in the rear is the same. Looks like it's interchangeable. The bumper itself is definitely, and the skid is definitely different than what's in the front. Going down to the bottom of the chassis, I'm kind of surprised that they kept the 3S, I guess, design somewhat of how it looks like on the bottom. That's kind of nice. I like that. I like that Arrma did that. But we have a composite chassis, and this feels really good. We're gonna have to see how this holds up especially when we take this to a brushless system, but everything feels nice and smooth and it just butts all up together. It feels really good. Getting down to the lipo pack, and as I mentioned earlier, it's a 1400 mAh 30C 2S lipo pack. I don't think I've ever owned a Spectrum Smart Tech lipo pack that was this small. These leads that are coming off the battery and also on the ESC and receiver combo, these are IC2 connectors. So if you're not familiar with them, that's what they are. The battery is going to lock down with a Velcro strap. This is the battery compartment. Give you guys a good view of what that looks like, because there is also another QR code here on the leads of the receiver and ESC. So you got a nice sized battery tray that's going to fit right there. And then the center drive shaft, that's all closed up, locked up underneath there. That's also metal. This ESC and receiver combo is 2S rated. We have our brush motor. It looks like about a 380 can size motor that's sitting back here, and it has a heat sink. And then underneath, I don't know if you guys are going to pick that up. And then underneath we have a Metal Gear servo under there. Feels a little sluggish. We're going to have to see. It feels strong, but just a little sluggish. Going to get this thing out, see how it performs brush. My thoughts are I'll put about maybe 2 packs in on this before I decide to make it brushless. But let's get this Grom out and see how it performs. It's got some zip for brushed. Oh, it's got zip. And the motor's just going to get better as you keep using it. So that's not bad for a first time out, and it's driving like this. Well, that's better. Now you can actually see. This isn't bad, guys. Nice. And these wheels are hooking up out here, and these tires are hooking up out here, guys. That's just... Oh, I didn't even plan that. That was sweet. I wonder if I got that on camera. So did not plan that. The ramps are not even set up to do that. Right now I'm just gonna give it hell. See how much it can take. Spending a hard-earned 130 bucks on this, definitely want to see how much it can take. Oh, sweet. That is so not even the setup, and it's trying to do it. Oh, that's sweet. I don't know, I was so in a rush to change this out to a brushless, but I don't know if I am. And this is set to 100. I'm not driving this at, I don't want to drive this at anything less. At least not for me, but for a little kid, it'd be perfect. But for me, I like it the way it is. Oh. Nice. It's a nice run with the Granite Grom. I don't know if I'm going to change this to brushless. This thing seems to be a beast, even on brushed. Let me see. I'm going to put a little bit more packs into it. Maybe I get to the point where I want to change it to brushless, but right now I'm getting a lot of fun with it brushed. So guys, I wanted to show you too. This is going to be one of the bad boys that Arrma is probably going after, since these are the big bad Amazon specials that a lot of folks are buying up and are happy to finally see a company like Arrma going for. I like that truck. The HBX trucks, I like them. They perform well. I've converted this one to brushless. This was a brush truck. Size-wise, giving you guys a better look, and hopefully I can give you a better angle of that. That's them right there. Size-wise, this is what the Arrma is really going after. And width-wise, this is just maybe a hair wider than the Arrma truck, not by much. And this is now has oil-filled shocks, and I did all the upgrades to it, meaning putting the oil-filled shocks and the brushless system in it. I threw some buggy tires on mine. Size-wise, this is what they're going after. They're going after these little Amazon specials that we have, that we love so much. Also composite chassis, also direct drive, also metal geared. The big difference with this one too is that it does not have the metal drive shafts in this. It does not stop at one bit, but these are so much fun and they take a good beating. So looking forward to seeing how the Arrma one is going to hold up to it, because if it's just perfect enough for kids for the holidays, this is going to fly off the shelf. And if it's able to pull in the hobbyists that are looking for something to putt around in the winter months, that's also going to pull in a lot of revenue for Arrma. But we're going to leave it here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok for the latest updates to the channel. This is Ready Set RC signing out. Thanks again, guys.